We've had a lot of questions regarding our video that we did on choosing arrows. And a lot of times I find that it's not the arrow spine or the arrow shaft itself that's an issue with the bow, but a lot of times it's the tuning of the bow. The main thing that I find that is off when I ask the customers all the statistics and the specs of their bow is the brace height. The brace height is the distance between the handle of the bow and the string. Each one of these bows, this is a center shot recurve. This is an 1/8 of an inch off center, means the arrow actually sits at a little bit of an angle like this. And this is a self bow with a very small shelf or no shelf at all, and the arrow sits at much more of an angle like this. Now, each one of these requires a different brace height. And I'll show you each one. This is just like we talked about in choosing arrows, is the shelves are different. So if we have the arrow on the string like so, and you can see how this arrow points at an angle when I hold the bow straight. If we lower the brace height, which is lowering the distance between the handle of the bow and the string, by either untwisting it or a longer string or the string stretches, if we lower that brace height, the arrow moves like thus. If we bring the brace height back to where it wants, it straightens it out more. If we increase the brace height even more, it could actually bring the arrow in line like this, but it's going to be so high that it won't allow the limbs to recover. Brace height, I think, is what I have found to be the #1 most important thing on tuning a bow. The same thing on this one. You'll see that it sits slightly, not as much as the self bow with no shelf or very small shelf, but if I lower that brace height, that increases this over here. If I raise the brace height, it brings it more in alignment. So what I have found, and this is generally speaking, each person should find the happy medium for themselves. For a center shot recurve where the shelf is cut beyond center in here like this, or a center shot longbow, you should have your brace height at approximately 8 inches. Some people find 7 3/4 works good. Some people find 8 1/4 works good. Generally speaking, on average, the distance from here to here should be 8 inches. On a deflex, reflex, or 1/8 of an inch off center longbow, I find that that brace height should be about 7 1/4 to 7 3/8. On a self bow, it's much lower. I find that about 6 1/4 inches from here to here is perfect. My hand is 6 1/4 inches from my side of my hand to the top of my thumb, so I check my brace height just like this. Now, the other thing that can affect arrow flight is the nock point, and that is where you put your arrow on the string. It should look like it's slightly high here in the back. When I pull the bow back, watch the back of the arrow, how it drops down. So if this was lower and that came into the bow, it would cause the arrow to porpoise. The arrow would fly up and down like this. Brace height affects the side to side, and your nock point affects the up and down or the porpoising. So we use a bow square, and I find for most bows, if you're going to nock the arrow under the nock point, the top line of the bow square, which is 3/8 above center, is the perfect place to put it. If you choose to nock over the string nock, then you would just have the top of the string nock be at the top of that line. Some people like to add a double nock in there. Some people shoot 3 fingers under, split finger. All those things are different, but the two main things that I find are most important for tuning a bow are your nock point and your brace height. To learn more, visit our website at raptorarchery.com or stop by our store and museum in the beautiful Columbia River Gorge location of Hood River, Oregon.